we are going to dive into melatonin today, as well as other sleep supplements. Google does a really good job at getting tons of information out there, and tons of misinformation. And some of that could be detrimental to many of you that we speak with. So I'm going to dive into today sleep hormones. Or not sleep hormones, sleep supplements. The reason I said sleep hormones is because melatonin is actually a hormone. It is not a vitamin or mineral. Melatonin is a hormone. So you've heard me talk about hormones before. Your stress system is in charge of 50 different hormone responses: sleeping, waking, energy, stress response, muscle regeneration, healing, inflammation, thyroid, cholesterol, blood pressure, kidney, digestion, all kinds of things. So melatonin happens to be one of those hormones. And we quite often hear when people are talking about melatonin that we only think that it is only for sleep, but it's actually really, really important for antiviral and antioxidants. So antioxidant is really helping to nourish and keep your cells strong. So melatonin has more jobs than just helping you sleep. The thing is that what we want when we go to sleep is our natural cortisol to lower and our melatonin to raise. And as it naturally raises, then all of those other hormones that we just talked about, they start this cascade effect of healing, repairing, everything that happened in your day. It starts giving you files for it and helps with your memory and cognitive thinking, all kinds of things. So there's a lot that goes on when melatonin naturally kicks in. So we would instantly think, hey, well, if I'm not falling asleep, I'm tired and wired, I can't shut off my brain, then what is needed is melatonin. But it's really important before you do start taking melatonin to understand, to first see if your body even needs it. So doing some sort of hormonal test, which we do give you guys when you join, it's one of the tests that we give you when you start off, and we get to see where your melatonin levels are at. So we can see, do you need it or do you not need it? And when you're having melatonin, you really only want a maximum of 3 milligrams. You never really want more than 3 milligrams of melatonin. You should only start with 1 milligram. The thing is with a lot of supplements in the States, it can be very deceiving because they can come in 10 milligrams, 20 milligram pills. And you can think, oh, these are available over the counter. This is what I should be doing. But it really isn't what you should be doing. If you're not able to, in 3 milligrams, maximum, starting off with 1, just get that whisper of melatonin in you to send a signal to that hormone to say, hey, it's time to start engaging. It's time to start kicking in so that we can fall asleep. If that's not going to happen, it doesn't matter how much you're giving yourself. And if you don't need melatonin, if your melatonin levels are already good or over, then melatonin, giving yourself the synthetic melatonin, over-the-counter melatonin, can actually cause problems. So really important for you to understand. I'm going to go through a list of different sleep aids as well, sleep supplements, and different hormones that help with sleep and stress. And it's really important for you to understand that you should know your testing first. It's because some of these can actually be detrimental, even though Google's telling you, hey, this is a great one to take. It may not be the best one for you. So we'll go through all of that right now. If you're taking any supplements as well, let me know. Once I'm done going through these, I'll go back and answer any questions that you do have. But let me know how long it takes you to fall asleep, if you wake mid-sleep, where are your sleep struggles? Can you sleep forever, but wake up still feeling groggy, disoriented, almost hungover? And really, it takes like a pot of coffee or an IV of coffee to start your day, even though coffee may not even give you that oomph anymore. So let me know where you're at in the comments, and I'll answer those after I go through this list of different supplements. So magnesium is phenomenal. It helps to relax your muscles, and it can actually take that. We often have a lot of cortisol floating around in the frontal lobe of our brain, and when we're tired and wired and not falling asleep, it's usually extra cortisol, energy hormone, that most likely wasn't kicking in when you were waking up. But when it's time to go to sleep, it's deciding, hey, I'm here to play. And so magnesium can help with that. The thing to understand, though, is that magnesium there's different types. There's citrate, there's malate, there's threonate, there's biglycinate, all different kinds. So different situations will require different types of magnesium. For example, as well, magnesium citrate helps to pull out certain toxins, certain oxalates in your body. And so you may also be having magnesium for different things going on in your body. But magnesium citrate gets your bowels moving, it loosens your bowels, and so do some of the other ones. So it's important to make sure that you are taking the right magnesium for you. And again, it's making sure that you've done the right testing and that your results have come back so that we can really tell where your gut is at, where your levels of magnesium are, to really know what levels should be given for you and which type to be given. I know for me, magnesium biglycinate has me running to the washroom, which is rare. That doesn't often happen to a lot of people. But it does in some cases. So it's really understanding which magnesium is the best one for you. Also, when people are stressed, magnesium depletes. So we do find that everyone that we do work with in the 911 Performance Program does require some form of magnesium supplementation on a daily basis, but which one is determined based on their test results that come in. Now, GABA. GABA, I want to say anything before GABA, that before I teach you how great of a supplement it is, to really make sure that you do consult with a professional before taking GABA. Don't just get it over the counter and read things on Google and go, hey, this is amazing, because it interferes with certain medications, especially anti-anxiety and antidepressant meds. So if you're taking GABA and you're on anti-anxiety depressant meds, definitely go and speak with your doctor, because that is contraindicated. It's really, really important to make sure that you are aware of that. Now, the thing is, though, is that GABA is really, really good because we have neurotransmitters in our brain, hormones that are in our brain are what we call neurotransmitters. So the neurotransmitters, they're always, what a hormone or a neurotransmitter is it's sending a signal to a certain part of your body to do an action. And so the neurotransmitters in our brain are very, very, very important. And GABA is inhibitory to those neurotransmitters. So what it does is it calms them down from firing. So when it's like overfiring, when you have these GABA neurotransmitters are overfiring, you can get mood issues. GABA also helps, even though it's in the brain, it helps to digest food, move it through your digestive tract. And it also helps to improve low stomach acid. And we find with most of you, well, every single one that we've worked with comes in with low stomach acid. Even those whose doctors have told them they had high stomach acid, we have yet to find anyone whose doctor has tested them for high stomach acid before giving them antacids. But quite often, if your sleep is off, your GABA is overfiring, then that can also be a contributor. There's a lot of other contributors to low stomach acid, which starts getting also indigestion, GERD feeling, the bloating, and all of that we often relate with high stomach acids. So GABA being too high as well GABA actually inhibits these, calms down these neurotransmitters. GABA is found in soy, in potatoes, in lentils. It can be found in some really great foods. So it would be best to get it from those foods as well versus from the actual supplementation, especially if you are taking, if you are on anxiety and antidepressant meds. So So just really make sure with that one that you are checking with your doctor. And same thing with 5-HTP. So interestingly, 5-HTP is not sold in Canada. It is sold over the counter in the States. We find that with actually quite a few hormones. With DHEA, we can't get that in Canada. So there's a lot of things that you can get in the States that we can't get in Canada. And I'm wondering if the reason why we can't get 5-HTP in Canada is because it is a precursor to serotonin. So if you, again, are taking anti-anxiety, antidepressants, then taking 5-HTP can alter the effects and be contraindicated with those medications. So with that, it helps with when you have chronic stress, then you're usually depleted in your tryptophan. And you might hear, like, after a turkey dinner or bananas, those brown bananas, that after turkey dinner, a lot of people fall asleep. It's because turkey is filled with tryptophan. Tryptophan is what helps you sleep, which is why 5-HTP is a tryptophan supplement, helps to calm you down. But and when you have chronic stress, you're depleted in it, which is another reason why your body struggles sometimes to fall asleep, and to calm when you are sleeping. So it is really important to make sure that your body is creating its own tryptophan properly, which is how we do that through testing. So instead of needing a synthetic supplement, we make sure that we're getting all of those hormones working the way that they need to, so your tryptophan can naturally kick in. So when I was talking earlier about GABA as well, believe GABA is hard to find in Canada too. So L-theanine is what is in GABA, and it is the safer part of GABA. So it still has some anti-anxiety actions to it, but it actually improves your alertness and your focus. So it also helps to modulate that quick rise in blood pressure when you're under stress. So L-theanine is a great one for stress. The reason that we have this in here is that it also has this calming effect on those neurotransmitters in your brain when that inhibit you when you're trying to fall asleep. So it gives your body this little nudge to produce its own natural GABA. So quite often you'll read on Google, hey, take GABA, but L-theanine is that precursor that gives your body that nudge to do it. Okay. And then we've got some herbs that we help with sleep. So the ones that I'm just going to go through right now are really great for teas. So we have valerian, passion flower, and skullcap, and chamomile. So with these teas, you can find them in some of your health food stores. You can be looking for them there. So the valerian, it calms your nervous system and it relaxes your muscles and decreases muscle pain and muscle spasms. So it does have a warning that it can have a sedative effect. So it is something that we would suggest not to have at work. But if you are getting muscle cramps and you need your muscles to really relax, then you may want to have like a valerian tea before you go to bed, if time permits. I know sometimes when you're coming home at 7 in the morning, it's not possible. Passion fruit, as well as skullcap, are both sedatives, and they do help with insomnia. They also have a really good, passion fruit has a really good cardio effect, benefits for cardio, especially when you have hypertension related to stress and doing cardio. Passion fruit flower is amazing for that, especially as well as those with asthma and anxiety related lung issues. So if you feel when you have anxiety and it hits you in your lungs, can really help you that because it calms your air passageways. So when you're hyperventilating. Skullcap is a sedative as well as calms your nervous system. Your nervous system does get hit with PTSD. So it really helps to calm down, support, and nourish your nervous system, which you guys hit doing long shifts with things that you see on the job, with all the stuff that's happening in midwives inside internally, with dealing with civilians. All of these things can really tax your stress system and your nervous system. And so Skull Cap really does help with that. And it also helps with your digestive system. Chamomile. So some people that are anxious or nervous, chamomile can help them. And it can also reduce the muscle tension and the anxiety to help you with sleep. It can also help with pain. So muscle pain, it can, because it relaxes your muscles, it can be a natural pain reliever to certain muscle aches and pains that you do have going on. So we do find that with chamomile, you can have it as a tea. So everything that I just mentioned can be taken as a tea. And then we have certain vitamins. So when we get into vitamins that are needed for sleep, so our B vitamins, when we are in long-term stress, we do deplete our B vitamins. As well, if you're a slow methylator, if you have some toxin issues going on, if your detox pathways aren't working, which happens with not being able to sleep, because your detox pathways are happening while you're sleeping at night, not in the day sleep as much, but more that nighttime sleep, then we do become more depleted in our B vitamins. And so B6 is a cofactor of GABA, which helps to increase your dopamine and serotonin. So if you're finding that you need that GABA supplement, sometimes that is where we go in and we do the testing. We find out where your B levels are at. And from finding that out, we can find out if your B6 is off, then that's telling us that you need more B6 in order to help your body generate more GABA to help with your dopamine and serotonin. And dopamine and serotonin is that anti-anxiety, calming, I feel like doing things hormone. And it is the synthetic part in anxiety and depression medication. So sometimes those are all linking back to different vitamin depletions. And B3 is a cofactor of serotonin. So serotonin, which I just talked about. So for anxiety and helping your muscles relax. So B6 and B3 are really important. So really, it's important to make sure that you are getting your nutrients tested. That's why one of the tests that we do as soon as you come in is to check certain vitamin and mineral levels that are needed and required by your stress system to see if you're depleted in any, because when you are under long-term stress, you fly through those so fast, more than food can give you. So if you have the best diet out there, but you have long-term stress, then you will always need certain supplementation in order to make sure that you are giving your adrenals, your stress system, enough nourishment. And then we get into hormones. So we have vitamin D, and vitamin D helps with detoxifying our body. And when you have low vitamin D, you become less tolerant to stressors. So if you're working a lot of night shifts, sleeping in the day, not getting a lot of vitamin D in, I mean, we do find with most everybody that we work with that they do need some sort of a vitamin D supplementation in order to keep those up, in order to help manage the stressors. Because and we notice, some of these guys notice as soon as they start taking the vitamin D after about a week or two, they're able to manage stressors more because the vitamin D helps with that tolerance. But here's a caveat. Too much vitamin D is not a good thing. Too much of any of these supplements is not a good thing. Not enough and too much can offset things. So we really need to make sure that your levels are optimal. I know for me, I have a genetic variant that makes me not absorb vitamin D as easily. So I need to take higher amounts. But how we did that was we did the testing. And then we saw how low I was. We checked. I started taking for 3 months. a certain amount of vitamin D daily. Then we did my testing again to find out where my levels were at. We actually found it. I needed to still go up a little bit higher, and I did. And then 3 months later, we did our testing. We found I was at the level that my body needed. So it really is, just because one person is taking a certain amount of vitamin D, it doesn't mean somebody else is. My husband does not need near the amount of vitamin D that I do. And that includes when he was doing night shifts. So it really is dependent from person to person. And then let's get into testosterone. So when you have low testosterone, which can happen from stress, it can happen from too much estrogen, which we find a lot, where testosterone goes down and moves into estrogen or moves into cortisol, depending. And or because of age, then it can interrupt with your sleep. So low testosterone is linked with sleep issues. So if you do suspect that you have low testosterone, then it's important to get your tests done. Now, I'm just going to quickly say that blood tests are not the best marker to know if your results are super low. I've gone into that before, so go back and check some of the other videos on low testosterone, because it will dive into some. We find often that guys are testing low on blood tests, but it's more that their testosterone was moving either to cortisol or to estrogen, which are two different treatment plans as well. So it really is important to find that out. And then hyperthyroid. So if you are somebody that has a hyperthyroid condition, then that is often linked with insomnia. So those are things when people come in and we go through their intake form and find out the medications they're on, then we're able to adjust and complement that so that you can then get into a better sleep. All right, well, that was a mouthful. I'm just going to do a quick check and see if there are any questions that have popped up. No, I don't see any questions. So let me know at all if you have any questions about these. Again, too much of a supplement is just as bad as not enough. Really, really important to know that. Brands, I didn't go after that, but brands are super, super important. Making sure that they are third-party tested. Third-party meaning the testing that was done on that supplement to make sure that what the label is saying is in it, and the quality is good, is done outside of their facility. So things like Popeyes, Supplement Shop, GNC, any of these home hand like their actual personal store brands, quite often they are not third party tested as well. Some of those establishments don't necessarily carry third party tested supplements. It's important to go to a very reputable health food store and get things from there and make sure that it is a third-party tested supplement company. So because you really want to stay consistent with what you're getting on a daily basis. If one of those pills, let's just say, says that it has 100 milligrams per supplement, to make sure that what the label is saying is in it, and the quality is good, is done outside of their facility. So things like Popeyes, Supplement Shop, GNC, any of these home hand like their actual personal store brands, quite often they are not third party tested as well. Some of those establishments don't necessarily carry third party tested supplements. It's important to go to a very reputable health food store and get things from there and make sure that it is a third-party tested supplement company. So because you really want to stay consistent with what you're getting on a daily basis. If one of those pills, let's just say, says that it has 100 milligrams per pill, but because, of the way that their process is, it's not tested, it's not above board, then they have so many different fillers in it. Sometimes you may get one that has 50 and another that has 150, which can make a difference on your moods from day to day. And you won't know if it's actually that supplement itself is not good for you or not working for you, or if it's actually just that the dosage isn't consistent and that it was not a good quality supplement. So it's really important to go with good quality supplements. Make sure you do testing before you take any supplements. Don't believe Google. Make sure that you are testing and that you do have a functional healthcare professional that is giving you the proper test to understand what's going on in your stress system and what your body needs, so that you are getting on the right supplements for you and not just guessing. All right. Any questions? Fire them off in the comment section. I am always here to help. And if you would like to stay anonymous, you can always reach out, email us at support@911lifestyle.com, and we will answer all of your questions. All right. Take care.